we're far apart here. Let me see. Can see your faces. What an introduction. Doesn't happen every day. Well, we got a very inspiring session coming up. I want to dig into a couple of things that people maybe don't even really think about, and I want to start zooming out. Because what I see at the end is that there's a lot of talk about AI, and everything's okay, it's the tools, and we have to start learning how to use ChatGPT and Claude AI maybe, and these type of things. But it was already mentioned, I wrote this book, The Remarkable Effect, and it's actually a story about me going to a place in Portugal, to a place called Nazaré, where they have these enormous waves of 30 meters. And why these waves are so big there and not a kilometer left or a kilometer right is because there's a number of forces coming together at the same time. There's a big canyon, there's like a little bit of a backgrounder here. 600 kilometers out, there's a canyon building up that is 2.5 times deeper than the Grand Canyon. And when the storms are coming from Greenland, the water is pushed and pushed and pushed, and it's coming out at that place. 3 forces coming at the same time, and then you got a wave of 30 meters. That is what's happening with AI these days. So it's not about the tools we're using, it's changing the entire business. So I would like to ask you a question first, when you look, how you look at it from the from educational perspective at IE. What do you see as the biggest things that are fundamentally changing in business before we start talking about how you then prepare for that?
The fundamental things that we're saying, I think, happen in 3 different stages. There's this big thrust of this is going to make us more productive.
Yeah.
And so that initial step is what I think everyone is trying to figure out. And there's a second step where we are actually seeing that maybe we should be doing things differently. And so redesigning the processes, redefining the roles is sort of a second, deeper kind of transformation. But frankly, the bigger thing, the tsunami or the big wave coming from Nazareth, is that eventually, like in previous industrial revolutions, the business model changes.
Yeah.
I've read some of your articles, and you talk about outcome as a service.
One thing, yeah.
And so imagine a world where companies do charge for real outcomes as opposed for tasks. So those are sort of the 3 big transformations that we're seeing in businesses.
Good. Thank you very much for that. And that's it's a very big thing in itself, because people will then also start to see that the way we've always worked in the past will not work anymore. So going then to the how do you prepare for that on a policy level, a program level, in your role, Belen, what do you see as the biggest gap at the moment that is now being created?
Yeah, well, in terms of the employment service, then a public service we are dealing with, we have the information about for every 4 employment offers, 3 of them requires AI. So people is scared because there's a lot of people older than 45 years old going to the employment offices and say, what happened? What is this? I need training, because training is everything. We are talking this morning about this. Training is everything now for entrepreneurship, people looking for a job. So now, first of all, like as a public service, we are training inside the people which is working with all the public servants, the people in the offices. We are delivering this type of training, and then we are going to go outside to train the people looking for a job.
Yeah, I got a question on that later on, and I want to now look at it from the other side perspective. Javier, what do you see at the moment? Because you're seeing the landscape also from the outside at Santander Universidades. What do you see as what separates the organizations that get a lot of value from AI versus the ones that are still sort of hesitating or they're not taking it that seriously?
Yeah, it's very good, the metaphor about this tsunami, yeah, in this place you mentioned. And yeah, in my view, it's not a problem of technology itself. And if you take this problem as a problem of technology, I think it's a mistake. I think it's happening like in the movie, everything at the same time and at the same place. and I see it more as a problem of change management, because we have to deal with the new needs of our users, how our employees are using the technology, how they share all the new practices, the insights they take from the technology. So, in my view, as managers, as leaders, we have to build these ecosystems, to listen to the signals we take from them, and then again trying to be there to manage this change, because at this moment it's very difficult to establish a strong methodology, a strong technology, because everything is changing every single day. When I get to the office, my team says, yesterday I read new technology, everything is going to change again. So we have to put focus on the business. Yeah. And managing the noise, the change, everything at the same time. Yeah.
I hear it now a couple of times. It's not about the tech. That's the funny thing about it. And I interviewed. Actually, I was at Business of Software a couple of weeks ago in Cambridge, and I was in the audience listening to one of the speakers, who was a 3 times founder now. He built 2 companies, grew that to about 100 million, and now he took a sabbatical and he decided, I'm going to do another one. So now he got a company that's 5 people managing 7 teams. Just think about it. He's got 5 people managing 7 teams of agents. That is also a big shift that is coming, because it's not about hiring smart people that can actually do a lot of things. It's possibly far more about delegation, managerial skills, oversight, judgment, feedback. How do you see that? And is that translating already into the programs?
Into the program, into education programs? I think it is, but I think, as you're saying, there's a component which is the technology, and the first thing that needs to happen is that people are not afraid of it. Some people here in the room have been in programs at IE where we get them to use the tools and see how easy it is. But as you're saying, it is not about the tool. The things we need to work more on is sort of the mindset and the processes behind it. And many companies, and we see this in our programs as well, many companies complain that we give them the tools and we don't see the productivity. True. Why? Because we continue using the tools in the old way. And let me use this metaphor. I tend to show a picture of when TV first came out and started replacing radio. And what did we do? We put a camera in front of an individual with a microphone who was reading the news. It took some time until we imagined what other things could we do with TV. And so this rethinking the role and how we do things is a mindset issue, and universities need to work on that. But I think we can only work on that if we lose the fear of the technology. It's not a big deal. You can learn it. Let's actually get into the mindset of redefining how you do what you want to do.
Exactly, and that is bringing me back to the public side again. Because a lot of people will think in the audience possibly also, hey, that was my job, you know?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about the mindset. For us, people is looking for a job, and coming to a public employment office is people with low qualification, and mostly, that's 80%. Sure. So how you can train these people, and as you said, it's not a matter of tech, it's a matter of work transformation, whole transformation, and how you can translate these people to learn the AI with all the soft skills integrated as you know, the main skills. and how to train these people to a different work world.
Exactly. Yeah, I've got a question on that. Beyond that, so from all the people that you see coming into the employment offices and the people that you take now and train, what do they struggle most with, Teresa? Belen.
Belen.
Another question for you.
Oh, sorry.
What do you see that the people that are actually coming to get that help, that are maybe not that skilled, what do they struggle with most?
Well, for us now, we have like a program in collaboration with companies, because we think they have to reach companies as soon as possible. In other way, they delay the way to the labor market, and we are think it's very important take this fear out with companies. We have like talent days, and in the talent day we have companies mentoring these people to the skills and doing role play, job interview role play, and it's the way now we understand the most efficient way to understand this labor world.
But Ton, I'm just going to react to something, if I may.
That's good.
Taking the fear out.
Yeah.
Let's elaborate on that. If all the headlines we read is AI is going to take my job, and it's in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and everywhere you go, then it's very hard for people at high level and low and less skill level to actually embrace this wave that you were describing. And yet, this is not the end, and all those jobs, some are being indeed made redundant. A part of that is AI. A part of that is bad management, things that needed to have happened and haven't happened. But also, and eventually we'll get there, but companies are also seeing that, you know what, I might get rid of some roles and jobs, but the cost of running AI is more than offsetting the savings. And we're all in this time now where we're trying to figure out this tokenizer that we're all suffering, how much is this going to raise our OpEx? And so the equation of AI is taking my job needs to be put in perspective. And I'd love to discuss this more if you want to take this debate that way. But I just couldn't help from this fear element. We really need to be very careful about what we're communicating.
No, that's exactly how we started, because there's a number of forces coming together, and it's not only about I need to start working with these tools. It's fundamentally changing how businesses are run, and OpEx and CapEx and all of these and margin is a big topic of that.
Totally.
How do you see that from the perspective of Santander?
Yeah, in the case of Santander, and in general, I think in the case of big corporations, big companies, we have a strong responsibility with society, because we have, millions of clients, thousands of employees, strong connections with companies, with public institutions, and putting on the table all these networks, all this scale, I think in the end is very useful for the whole society. In our case, we have specific programs focused on that. One of them is Santander Open Academy, an open platform where you can be trained to upskill, reskill yourself or your company around AI or everything. Yeah, we have many programs. And we have a different platform which is Santanderix, which is focused on SMEs, startups, with many contents, programs. Specifically, we have one with IE that is open now, so if you are interested in this program, please let us know. And we have Anna and Andrea here from partners from the bank. And in general, again, and in our case in Santander, our vision is to help business and people prosper. It's a way to return part of the value we get from the society to the society again. And education and this being part of this evolution, of this transformation, I think is for us a strong responsibility.
Exactly, but can you give an example of that?
Yeah, imagine in the case of Santanderix, we have put on the table, as I mentioned, programs like this with a university in which we can have startups focus on a specific business problem. They can put AI as a part of the solution. So we can help them with AI to fight for this problem and to find this business case can be helpful for the startup or the business that is being created at this moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got examples on that from the public side? I mean, how are you working with businesses to get the balance right again?
Well, 3 years ago, we built an innovation employment center. We have 2 offices in Madrid, and we are creating like a circuit about technology and soft skills. And inside this center, we bring companies trying to give information about how business are now, because there's like a lack of knowledge in people, in unemployment people, about how business transformation is doing. So I think we need more information, more, information about sectors. We specialize the employment offices in sector, in activity sector. We have one of retail, we have one of healthcare, we have logistics. So now the people is working in the employment services have more knowledge about companies, but we need more. I mean, it's very necessary this public-private collaboration in order to don't delay. I'm obsessed with delay because this is going too fast. Companies are lack of talent. They are communicating as this lack of talent. We need people. Because it's a mismatch between offer and position and people. So as a region, as Comunidad de Madrid, we need to cover this mismatch. So
yeah. That brings me to the point of, I mean, and you said that before we started. That's part of, I mean, for everybody in everybody's job, part of the job is going to go. And it's sometimes things that you might be attached to, but otherwise it's sometimes also a lot, okay, the things that you don't like. You know, you said that literally, I'm glad I can give a part of my job away to AI. And it's going back to the interview that I saw in Cambridge. The founder there said it's not about tech, it's about clarity. And possibly it's about first principles. Maybe we're getting to a point right now whereby we're actually going to describe how the business should be run in the first place. What are the guardrails? What are the jobs to be done? The clarity there, so that whether you hire a person or you hire an agent, it will go. Because at the end, if you compensate in a business hiring smart people because they will figure it out, well, agents and AI, you give them something and they do something about it, and the question is whether you like it. He literally said that in one night, like talking about the tokens, there was about 5,000 or 6,000 euro in tokens burned because the AI was just working hard, but on the wrong thing. Is that, how do you see that? I mean, let's just start here. How do you see that evolving here? Because it's an educational thing.
Totally. I mean, I couldn't sort of agree more with the importance of education, the importance of making it available. Many of the small and medium businesses out here feel like it's hard to just get the training. There are many resources, and frankly, this is the first step, and without that, it's hard to make the changes. How do we see that? I mean, I do think there are different levels, and oftentimes, instead of thinking about the big wave, it helps a lot to think about the small steps, both at an individual and at a company level. Yeah. The things that we like to do is, at an individual level, in our executive education programs, we try to give them the assistant and really start augmenting the individual in helping them making better decisions, tapping on the right sources, getting the right questions. And so that part is a non-negotiable, and it's really trying to augment the role. But guess what? You have a really powerful advisor that could challenge the thinking about all the steps of the value chain and really reimagining how this should be done.
Yep.
And so I like to think about, and that's sort of the things we do in many of our programs, is like, why do you exist? What's the outcome you hope for? And so let's start with the outcome, and then let's go back through the value chain and imagine how could you simplify this? How could you get your agent to do part of that? And the good or bad news is that, as always, it needs to make economic sense.
Sure.
But it's an invitation to think differently about the different parts of the value chain, really focused on outcome. Pricing should be based on outcome. And then, go back to, okay, how do is it an agent that can do that? Is it an agent plus a human? What's the overall cost of those roles? So that's, anyway, the approach we take in many of our programs.
Smart. That's really a good approach there. And I'm thinking out loud here. Could AI be the solution to the AI education problem for the people that are coming to the employment office, for example? Could they all get a mentor to help these individual people rethink what their role could be about?
I'll take a stab at that after you,
AI
Belen.
as a mentor, you said.
Yeah.
Well, I prefer the
In
the
person.
one-to-one. Yeah, I prefer the one-to-one. Could be, but as you say, partido a partido. And if we think about 2045, AI could, have all the knowledge in the world and run away right now. But I think, as Teresa said, step by step, and all the time thinking about the added value, thinking about, back to basics and think,
Yeah.
we are here, why we are here, why we are apporting to the society, apporting to the companies, and could be, have a sweet life, I hope.
Totally. But Belen, on that, imagine all the people coming to the employment office and having someone who they can check on 24/7. And guess what?
Yeah.
Personalization comes at a marginal cost, as it has been happening in the last 20 years. And you can give a companion in this unquestionably hard journey of finding your new role. And I do think, both for employment assistant and certainly for education, AI does play a role in making that journey not only more personalized, but more effective. Does that remove the role of the person to person? No.
No.
No, but doesn't it feel awesome when, 10 a.m. you can check and say, hey, how would you solve this? And why am I feeling that I cannot do that? And why? It's an amazing service, and for now, it costs, but not a lot, if you can set the right system.
Yeah. I do want to point, kind of get a little bit into this thing that you already said about augmentation, because it's a fancy word, but there's something to it. Particularly also in terms of the role we're all going to take. I spoke to a founder recently from Israel, and he said a lot of companies think that this AI thing is about automating things away, And you'll see a lot of websites, we automate all these things away so you can focus on what matters. And of course that's fun and that's noble, but what is the thing that matters? We hire smart people for particular qualities. What if we start now using AI to amplify those qualities? What would that do to a business in general? And I think you can do that at every level in the organization, which would make it more fun for everybody, I would say.
Totally.
I mean, what is your role? What is your thinking about this?
Yeah, I agree with what Teresa was saying before. The question here is that outcomes we have as a company, as companies, as individuals, as departments, the value we share with others, with our clients, with our stakeholders, and it's not easy because it's a huge challenge for many people to differentiate between the task and the value. Yeah?
Yeah.
And we, as humans, I think we tend to be very happy and comfortable with the task, with my Excel, with the environment I know. And you mentioned before that AI is about abstracting, about the situation, the tools you have, the relations you have with people, your team, and trying to get to the problem with a white paper. And yeah, that's the reason why sometimes we tend to hire new people with new ideas, because it's not easy to differentiate between the task and the value.
Yeah.
And here again, the real challenge for big organizations is specifically this. Yeah, let's focus on without fear. Yeah, let's focus on our outcomes, our clients, our business. It doesn't matter the how, it matters the what. So
True.
yeah, AI is part of the how. Yeah, in my view. But yeah, in my view, it's a part of a process. I live the cloud wave, and I had teams which were very happy with the computers, installing the hardware again, and it was hard to move all these people to different tasks. And
True.
here it's a bit the same, but not only for tech guys, for everyone.
For everybody, exactly. Yeah. Now, I'm looking at the time, 1 minute to go. One question to finish off for all three of you. Looking at it from your perspective, let's start here with Teresa. If you could remove one obstacle to the AI readiness in Spain, what would it be?
Fear.
Okay?
Yeah, I agree.
Fear.
That's a quick one.
Yeah.
40 seconds.
Totally agree with this. Yeah.
Now, let's put it in a different way then. If it's removing fear, because I think it is the thing. Have you got one recommendation how we could start doing that? Practical to people in the audience today.
There is no way you can get into this wave at an individual level without spending if you don't have the curiosity and the time to tinker.
Yeah.
We call it cacharrear. You need to cacharrear. So, practical tip, try, experiment.
Exactly.
Training. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think as there is an obstacle to move forward than fear, is that using AI is not only being asking questions to ChatGPT, it's asking the right questions. So again, training, being able to understand the whole perspective, and it's not easy because it's like a bias that we can be telling everyone that we are experts, and in the end, if you don't use the technology as it should be used, maybe you can have the perception that you are 100% happy with that, and maybe you are focusing again on the task instead of on the outcome or on the value.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for their contribution. We went in a number of areas. I think we picked up a couple of inspiring points to think about, to tinker about. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Big round of applause, please.